Fermentation has been a method used as a means to preserve, enhance, or sanitize both food and drink for thousands of years. For the home brewer today, picking up the all-important ingredient yeast is as simple as a trip to the store. But what if that convenience was no longer an option? Suppose you still wanted to make a home brew from scratch. Where would you find this ferment-inducing fungi? In this episode of the Northwest Forager, we look no further than the fruit of our labors. Yeast starters are an excellent way to get your batch of wort or must into the final stage of its desired potential. Wild yeast is quite common and can be found on the skins of most fruit, such as grapes. With elderberry in season, I decided to collect a few handfuls from our local park. To make your starter, have enough fruit to make about a cup's worth of juice. Using a medium-sized bowl, take out a handful at a time and crush the elderberry, squeezing out all the juice. Make sure to leave all the pulp in the juice, since this is where the yeast is already living. Just be sure to remove any pieces of the stem. After you have juiced the fruit, take a clean jar and pour in the juice. Using clean, non-chlorinated water, add roughly enough water as there is fruit pulp. Next, place a piece of clean plastic on top. This will allow for gas expansion. And screw the lid on tightly. The juice will now need to be aerated very well by giving the jar a good shake. Be sure to do this a couple times a day for the first few days until a good fermentation is evident. In between aeration, we'll keep the jar in a warm, dark place. After a day or two, the activation of yeast will be apparent by the production of carbon dioxide gas, as you can see by the bubbling in the juice. The plastic on top has expanded considerably. We can relieve the pressure by sterilizing a safety pen and poking a small hole in the plastic dome. At this point, your yeast starter could be strained and pitched into your batch of fermentables. If, however, you would like to keep the starter around a bit longer, extending its life for a few weeks or possibly months till use, we can transfer it into a sterile glass, such as a chemistry flask. Using another glass and a strainer, take the active yeast starter and strain out all the pulp. Next, add a few tablespoons of sugar to the flask. This will feed your yeast and help build up its colony while it waits for its next meal. Then, we can carefully pour in the yeast starter, give it a good stir, and pop on an airlock. If you don't have an airlock, a party balloon will also work. Yeast activation will still be apparent by observing the CO2 bubbles. This starter should now keep for weeks or longer if stored in a cool, dark place. If you have any experiences making your own yeast starter, or you have suggestions on what I should try brewing, leave a comment down below. Who knows, I just may use your suggestion in my next video. Will it brew? Thanks for watching. Please give a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and as always, happy foraging!